My daughter was in the hospital. Her mom's boyfriend did it. I came back for revenge. The call came at 2:14 a.m. A voice I didn't recognize spoke my daughter's name with hesitation, like it tasted bitter leaving his mouth. "She's at County General. You should come." No details, just a pause. A silence that carried more than words ever could. By the time I reached the hospital, the fluorescent lights had already carved me into something hollow. I saw her through the glass, tubes, machines breathing for her small chest rising in weak rhythm. I asked the nurse what happened. She glanced away. "Fall," she muttered, "from the stairs." But I know how children fall. I know bruises. Patterns. And these were not clumsy accidents. These were fingerprints written in purple. When her mother walked in, she didn't look at me. She stood by the doorway, arms crossed, silence sharp as glass. Her boyfriend followed close behind, hands buried in pockets, expression too calm, too measured. His eyes flicked to mine only once, a flicker, then gone. And in that flicker, I knew. Someone had done this to my little girl, and I already knew who. The days that followed blurred into antiseptic air and the steady beeping of machines. I stayed by her bed, silent, waiting, watching. Her mother avoided me. She busied herself with papers, calls, excuses. But the boyfriend lingered. He carried himself like he belonged there, like he had permission to exist in her orbit. When he leaned in too close to my daughter, whispering something soft that made her flinch, I felt my jaw lock. He noticed me watching, and he smiled. Not wide, just enough to let me know. Later, her mother pulled me aside. "You don't need to be here every night," she said, voice low. "You'll make her anxious." I stared at her. She didn't even realize the weight of what she was revealing. The distance, the rehearsed lines. And then came the slip. Unintended, thoughtless. She called him by a name she used to call me. A slip of habit, forged from intimacy. That's when it hit me. The betrayal wasn't new. It wasn't sudden. It had been building quietly while I worked late shifts, while I trusted her, while I thought my family was intact. She hadn't just brought a stranger into my daughter's life, she had let him touch everything I once protected. I stopped asking questions. Questions make people careful. Silence makes them careless. I started noticing the details. The way her mother's phone lit up at odd hours, and she angled it away. The way his car appeared in the driveway every night, even when she claimed he wasn't there. One night, when they both left the room for coffee, I slid her phone from the counter. Just a glance, just enough. Text threads, deleted messages that weren't fully gone. A picture of him holding my daughter on his lap, his hand pressed too firmly against her side. Smiling, but not in a way that felt human. I felt something cold wash over me. Not anger, not yet. Something quieter, something more dangerous. I gathered evidence without haste. Hospital reports, photographs of bruises, screenshots of texts. I visited a lawyer under the pretense of custody inquiries. I ordered a DNA test kit, not because I questioned my daughter's blood, but because I wanted leverage, a weapon hidden in plain sight. Outwardly, I was calm, civil, the grieving father keeping vigil. Inwardly, every move was calculation. And I waited. The test results arrived in a plain envelope. Negative. He wasn't her father. He wasn't connected. Nothing biological bound him to her. But it wasn't the science I needed. It was the certainty. That night, I invited them both to the cafeteria under the guise of talking things through. I slid the report across the table. No words, just paper. Her hands trembled as she read. His eyes darted to hers, searching for something, anything, that could undo what was already done. Finally, I spoke, low, steady. "You tried to replace me. You thought I wouldn't notice. You let him put his hands where they didn't belong. And now she's broken because of it. The silence that followed was heavier than rage. He shifted, restless, muttering denials. She shook her head, tears forming, but I didn't move. I didn't flinch. I wanted them to feel the weight of my stillness. I leaned closer, my voice a whisper meant only for them. I have everything. The texts, the photos, the hospital reports. You thought I was blind, but I see you now. He swallowed hard. For the first time, his mask cracked. You can't prove I cut him off with a single sentence. The police already have it. It was a lie, but in that moment, it didn't matter. His face drained of color, his breath shallow. She reached for his hand, but he pulled away, self-preservation outweighing whatever twisted bond they shared. And I sat there, composed, watching them unravel. They had expected anger, violence, a scene. Instead, I gave them silence, sharp as class. Then I stood, leaving the report on the table. My daughter needed me upstairs. They didn't. Not anymore. When I returned to her room, she stirred slightly, eyes half open, searching for something familiar. I placed my hand gently on hers, steady, unshaking. For the first time in weeks, I felt clarity. Not peace. Peace is a luxury I no longer believe in. But clarity. Her mother would fracture under the weight of exposure. He would run, and I wouldn't need to lift a finger. Revenge isn't always fire. Sometimes it's ice, a slow freeze that leaves them trapped in their own choices. I kissed my daughter's forehead, the machine still humming their sterile lullaby. Then I whispered, just for her, "They can't touch you anymore." And I meant it.